Jaylen Brown goes off for 40 points. The Boston Celtics do all the little things right. And on top of it, Tyrese Haliburton gets hurt. Let's talk about it all right now with this big Game 2 win on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Thanks to Blockbuster Brand, it's holiday season. Drop Drew in the mix, and 3 from KP. No, we not on the Knicks. Flushing competition like Al on Giannis. Juice and Big Juice, still Bean Town's finest. Banner 18 going up in the rafters. Watch the C's game in Locked On after. Karalis on the breakdown. Clutch like a tip from D. White on the breakdown. John on the mic, documenting domination. Matter pen a back bay, it's all C's nation. Rain and J's, how we started, raising business, how we finish. Locked On Celtics pod, home of the winners. Peace.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day, and I got you covered every single day, Monday through Friday, with a free, fresh podcast that drops directly to your device. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcast. Watch the show on YouTube. Let me know what you're thinking. If you're new to the show, I'm John Karalis. Used to play a long time ago. Now I'm covering the Celtics for Boston Sports Journal. I'm a beat writer. I'm here at the TD Garden. It's very early in the morning, but that means I just kind of get to sit here on the floor right at the three-point line and do my Locked On Celtics podcast. So it's very rare that I get this kind of a backdrop. So this is one you might want to watch on YouTube, because at least you get to see this. I love it here. I love it here at this time of night. I mean, I don't like being here at 3:30 in the morning, but hey, this building, I love the empty arena. All right, today we're talking about the Boston Celtics getting the big Game 2 win over the Indiana Pacers, 126-110. Today's show is brought to you by LinkedIn. You want to post your job at LinkedIn Jobs to find qualified candidates that you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnba. That's linkedin.com/lockedonnba to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. So let's later on, we'll talk about the margins and the little things that, all the stuff that I laid out in yesterday's podcast on Boston Sports Journal. It's a lot of the stuff that the Celtics were actually able to accomplish. We'll talk a little bit about Jayson Tatum at the 5, Oshae Brissett making a big impact. We'll talk about Tyrese Haliburton going out and the impact that might have on this series. But we have to start. We absolutely have to start on Jaylen Brown, who had an amazing night. 40 points, which ties a career high. 14 of 27 shooting, so 52% shooting. 4 of 10 from 3, perfect. 8 of 11 from the free throw line, pretty good. 5 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, just 2 turnovers. 40 points, a plus 18 on the night. Just a beautiful all-around game from Jaylen Brown. And there was a little bit of him. It felt like, we want to attribute things like this to, oh, he felt snubbed. Oh, he felt like, he didn't make an all-NBA team. Tyrese Haliburton did, so he's going to go out and show out against the guy that maybe he thought he shouldn't have lost out a spot to. After the game, he said, nah, we're 2 wins away from the finals. I don't give a blank. Which was, yeah, you like hearing that, because you don't have time. You don't have time to care about that stuff. But I will say that Jaylen Brown obviously does care about that stuff. He really does. And that's fine. It's not a criticism of him. He cares, and he should care, because that's part of doing this job. It's part of doing this work. You want the recognition. It's part of your legacy. I sat here on this podcast maybe a couple of months ago at this point, talking about the potential path for Jaylen Brown to make the Hall of Fame. And I don't know if he's going to make it or not. And I'm not saying he is on his way to a Hall of Fame career, but here are the Celtics with a chance to win a championship, and a very good chance. If they win it this year, and if they actually win another one somewhere along the way with him, and he makes a few all-NBA teams, now he has a chance, because he's a champion, maybe a multiple-time champion, a multiple-time all-NBA guy, multiple-time all-star. If you can get those accolades piled up, people start to look at your resume a little bit differently. If he just puts up the same exact numbers, whatever the numbers end up being, the same exact amount of numbers without a championship and with a championship means not Hall of Fame and Hall of Fame. So the whole point I'm trying to make here is, like, I understand the concept of, hey, Tyrese Haliburton has a lot of money on the line. It's an extra $40 million for him or so. And I, not me, I don't have a vote, but I'm just saying I, the voter, am going to break the tie by saying Jaylen Brown's making a ton of money. He got his All-NBA last year. He got his big boost in his contract. He has, all this other stuff, like the potential championship, all of that stuff. He's fine. My tiebreaker is going to be Tyrese Haliburton. I'm not going to cost Tyrese Haliburton money because he had a hamstring injury. He was on his way to an All-NBA. I get it. So, okay, fine. I understand that argument. I can accept that argument. But Jaylen Brown doesn't have to, and he can use it as motivation. Now, after the game, he admitted that he sees guys out there getting anointed that he doesn't think live up to his abilities on both sides of the ball. Again, a very fair thing to think, and he can go ahead and think it. He went out here in this game, and it felt like he was trying to prove something to somebody. But again, I can say that because he had a big game. He could have dropped 40 without the needing something to prove thing. He could have dropped 40 in this game against the Pacers defense because the Pacers have a crappy defense, and it didn't look like he was meeting much resistance. He was 7 of 9 from inside the restricted area, and another 1 of 2, I think, or 1 of 1 in the other paint non-restricted. He shot a great percentage, and he attacked the rim, and he got where he needed to go. But motivation and all that stuff aside, the thing that made me that really impressed me with Jaylen was he didn't force anything. Like the 2 turnovers that he had, one was, it got slapped away from him in the first quarter, and it ended up going off of, it was a turnover, and he got possession, and then they turned it right back over. And the other one was in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes to go, and the game basically decided, which, by the way, side note, Rick Carlisle pulling Pascal Siakam with 9.5 minutes to go, and the game still technically within reach, considering the Boston Celtics and, the tightness that they've shown in the fourth quarter. Why wouldn't you test that as Rick Carlisle? I don't understand that one. I'm going to listen to Locked On Pacers on my way home to see if Tony East can explain it to me, because I have no idea why Rick Carlisle pulled the plug on this game so early in the fourth quarter. Maybe he just figured it's very clear we're not getting this game. It's very clear Tyrese Haliburton's not coming back. We got to go back home. And so if Tyrese is not back, then everyone else might as well sit out. We're just going to punt the rest of this one, go home, try to take care of business at home, be as rested as possible to take care of business at home, and then maybe we can come back and steal one. That feels like the most sensible explanation for what happened, but regardless, weird. So anyway, Jaylen, those 2 turnovers were meaningless in the flow of this game. One happened right at the beginning, one happened right at the end. None of them happened because he tried to force anything. He moved the ball well. He only had 2 assists, but I'm not fooled by 2 assists. 2 assists was just the result of guys making shots. I'm sure when I look at the potential assists, the passes that could have been shots, those would have been. I think he will have plenty of potential assists, and I think there are probably some secondary assists in there. I thought Jaylen moved the ball well. He got off the ball early when players were in his way. He didn't sit there and say, "Man, I'm cooking. I'm going after everybody. I'm trying to dunk on everybody." He just made the right play. He did the right things, and he ended up with maybe the best, certainly numbers-wise, tied with the best output of his playoff career. He's having the best playoffs as a whole of his career. The efficiency is higher. The points per game, I think there might be one where he was higher, but the efficiency is better here. The turnovers are lower. This is the best playoffs of his career, following the best regular season of his career. I think he should have been All-NBA. Maybe I can throw the Tyrese Haliburton stuff aside and say Devin Booker shouldn't have been on the All-NBA team. I think that's also a reasonable take. So Jaylen Brown whether he was motivated or not, whatever he says, I know he cares, but he won't flat out say that he cares. And it doesn't matter because the most important thing is he's 2 wins away. The Celtics are 2 wins away from the NBA Finals. They're 6 wins away from a championship. And you can't win until you win. And if they win, he will win. He will win the adulation, the love. The narrative changes with everybody once you win a championship. All of the negative stuff, it goes out the window because you got that ring. And it doesn't matter the path. It doesn't matter the competition. You got a ring. And a lot of guys out there don't. So the narrative changes. So get through these next 6 more wins, Jaylen Brown, and I think the love that you're looking for will be coming. All right, let's talk about the other thing that really changed the momentum. Oshae Brissett. How about Joe Mazzulla, the coaching job, dipping into the Oshae Brissett well, Jayson Tatum at the 5. That really changed a lot here in this game. I'll talk about that when we come back. Today's show is brought to you by LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs is serving small businesses by giving them not just another job board. I know what it's like to run a small business. I know what it's like to have, you're worried about money. You're worried about 10 different things because you're the boss and you're everything in your business. And when you have an opening, it's stressful. You need to spend time you don't have to hire somebody that you need this hire to hit. So you post your job on LinkedIn Jobs because they have a network of 1 billion with a B professionals. And they have people who are not just looking for jobs that will apply on their own. They have people who are open to work, which means LinkedIn will go find them for you. So they make the process easy, finding you professionals you're not going to find anywhere else. There are 2.5 million small businesses that use LinkedIn for hiring. 86% of those find a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Why not take that opportunity that's in front of you? And you can post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. Post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Today's show is also brought to you by our good friends over at Crack Sauce. That's CRAIC. It is craft hot sauce made. Now I'm sitting here at the TD Garden. Which direction? It's that way, north, Lowell, Massachusetts. They're about half an hour away from here, making these incredible sauces that have 10 to 20 ingredients, locally sourced, super flavorful sauces that are hot. Yep, they're hot sauces. Some of them varying degrees of heat, but they are not just things you dip onto. You pour them onto like you would any other hot sauce. You could do that, or you can add them to whatever food you're making. Add them to your eggs. You add them to your soups. Add them to your dishes, your casseroles, your whatever, because they are ingredients. They're all local farms. They're all local ingredients. You can spice up any bland thing you pick up at the market. Crack Sauce does the work. You just add a teaspoon and you get complex, versatile flavor. If you like to cook, get these. 100% of what's in the bottle is from local farms, and some of these have ingredients just from one farm. Listen, it's a diehard Celtics fan that makes this stuff. I am very proud to have them as a sponsor on this podcast because they're good people doing good work, and you can get your friends, your family, your dad, Father's Day is coming up, a great gift by going to Crack Sauce, CRAIC sauce.com. Use the code LOCKEDON. You get 10% off your order. Get the gift for dad. Get one for yourself. Get one for me. No, don't get one for me. Just get one for your dad. Get one for yourself. I've got my own. I've got plenty. And it's worth it. Trust me. Crack Sauce, CRAIC sauce.com. Go support a local Celtics fan and local farms and local employees, local businesses. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On Sports Today, streaming 24/7 over on YouTube and on the Amazon Fire TV channels app. It's streaming 24/7. Forget all of those ESPN and Fox Sports talk shows that are just yelling and screaming and all of that stuff. You want the good stuff. Locked On Sports today, streaming 24/7 on YouTube and Amazon Fire TV channels. All right. The Joe Mazzulla went to Oshae Brissett in this game. Oshae Brissett played, how many minutes did he play? He got in 12 minutes and was a plus 18. Now, I thought Tillman might get some chance, but he went with Brissett, and that worked. The small ball lineup with Brissett at the 4 and Tatum at the 5 was a good counter to the speed of the Pacers offense, the half-court offense. I thought Brissett got a couple of deflections. He had 3 steals in the game. He was active. And, my thought process yesterday was, hey, maybe you go double big, protect the rim. They didn't go that direction. They went with the speed element. And that's why Joe Mazzulla is the head coach. And I'm sitting here podcasting after he's left and gone home and is asleep. I now occupy this space and say, oh, let me second guess things. No, I'm not second guessing this move. Tatum at the 5 against the Pacers works because he doesn't have to work too hard against big burly centers that are just backing him down. Miles Turner was out there. Drew Holiday had him covered. And then when Turner did switch on to, or when Tatum did have Turner's a big dude, but he's not like a big physical, going to back you down and play through you kind of guy. So Tatum can sit there. Tatum's a big dude, and he can handle some of that physicality for sure. But the way the Pacers play and the way the Celtics were aligned there, having Brissett in there, that energy, we talk about chaos with the Pacers, their chaotic offense. JJ Redick said he talked to Rick Carlisle, and Carlisle called it a more conceptual offense, not running plays. It's just concepts. And that unpredictable nature makes them move fast and move in ways you don't normally expect. And so what Brissett was able to do was just kind of like be in the way and move quickly and make quick decisions. And with Tatum at the 5, he's just able to get to places that Al Horford couldn't. And one of the adjustments in this game was Al Horford did not play the 40 minutes. He played less than 30 against the Pacers in game 2. 25 minutes, basically 25. So Brissett was able to eat into those minutes and do a real good job. The plus 18 in 12 minutes is really good. And it shows you how good the Celtics were defensively. That third quarter where they really spread the ball around and increased their lead and got that separation. Brissett was on the floor for a lot of that. So he did a really, really good job. And that was a really smart move by Joe Mazzulla, who pressed all the right buttons and was able to get the Celtics to do a lot of the little things, which I'll talk about in a couple of minutes here. But before I do that, I do have to address the Tyrese Haliburton injury. He left and now they're calling it a left hamstring injury. I haven't seen how serious it is, but I did watch him leave the locker room, and he was limping noticeably. I saw him walking down the hall towards the team bus, and he was not moving well. If that is a hamstring injury, if that is and I don't know what it is about playing the Celtics where he keeps injuring his hamstring, that's a problem that's going to haunt him. I don't know that if it's bothering him at all, considering everything that he's been through, considering everything that he went through just to get back to this spot, if that hamstring is hindering him at all, I don't know if he plays. I don't know if he's going to risk more injury to come out and, like, you're down 2-0. The Pacers season's already a success. No one expects them to make it to the next round anyway. No one expects them to win a championship. Rick Carlisle said before game 1 that this is still a work in progress. No one around the Pacers is sitting there thinking like, this is our chance. We got to make this move. I am thinking that if that hamstring is not 100% on Saturday night, I don't know if that Haliburton's going to play. He's got too much on the line. We're talking about contract. He doesn't want to do something like completely tear the hamstring and be out for months and months and months and have that play into next season. I don't think it's going to cost him anything with the contract. He's still going to get the max deal from the Pacers because you'd be stupid not to lock him. It's not like a career-ending thing. So that's not the issue, but he is part of Team USA. I'm sure that he wants to be a part of that, and he doesn't want to miss out on that opportunity. So if that hamstring's not 100%, the Celtics could be going into Game 3 with Haliburton out. And look, that just means more TJ McConnell, and I'm not going to say that that's better or worse for the Celtics, but it may not be like, oh, now you coast. If the Celtics go in there and Haliburton's out, TJ McConnell is very capable of having a huge game. So they've got to be careful about that. But we'll see. It's something to watch for. And I'm sure it's going to trigger all of the blah, blah, blah talkers to say, oh, here goes the Celtics again. Another series, another star going out. Well, what are you going to do? Sorry. It's not their fault. So, all right, let's get back and we'll talk about the little things. I asked for the Celtics to do a bunch of things, little things, the detail things. And it's not like they listen to me, but they listen to me. I'll talk about that when I come back. Today's show is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. You'll always find exactly what you're looking for, and with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back, because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need and the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. So I, on Boston Sports Journal and in the podcast, laid out a few different things for the Celtics that I thought just some discipline. And this is, I'm not going to sit here and take full credit for it because this is basically what Joe Mazzulla said. Discipline was the key to defending the Pacers and holding them to less than what they did in Game 1. So that 128 that they gave up I consider that kind of like the baseline. When they're playing well, when the Pacers are playing their best, that's what you can expect. Somewhere around 128. Like, I really think that can be, just consider that the baseline. That's when they're at their best, that's what they're going to do. So I laid out a few different things and said, can the Celtics eliminate 2 or 3 baskets by playing with better discipline in the half court? So the Pacers half court offense in Game 1, Game 2, kind of the same. 103.7 points per possession in 103.7 points per 100 possessions in Game 1, 105.7 per 100 possessions in Game 2. So an offensive rating, 2 points more. Basically, the Celtics didn't get anything different out of their the Pacers half court that was still really good. And I'm going to blame Pascal Siakam, who really just couldn't miss from the mid-range. He was 11? No, let's see what Pascal Siakam was in this game. 13 of 17, 76.5%, 2 of 2 from 3. He shot 76.5%. So that kind of skewed the half court numbers for the Pacers. But hey, credit to him. Credit to him. So that's one of 4 things. So the first of the 4 things, even. Then I said, can they eliminate 2 or 3 baskets by getting back on defense after a miss and preventing a couple of transition buckets. Fast break points in this game, 7 fast break points in game 1, 14. So they cut those in half. So that's a win. I asked, could they eliminate 2 or 3 buckets by getting better offense so they could get back and set their defense? Well, the Celtics half-court offense in game 1 was 101 points per 100 possessions. In game 2, 123.9. They executed much, much, much better in the half-court offense. Thank you, Jaylen Brown, for going off. You counter Pascal Siakam with Jaylen Brown's awesome night, and he cooked. But it wasn't just in the half-court. Like, Tatum stepped it up late. He had a terrible first half, Woke up in the third quarter, finished it off in the fourth, was normal in the fourth. But the Celtics half court was great. And so they were able to eliminate some buckets just by getting back after makes. And then I said, could they eliminate 2 or 3 buckets just by protecting the ball and not making horrible passes? Game 1, points off of turnovers, 21. Game 2, 12. So almost cut in half. So the Celtics hit on 3 of the 4 big points that I was talking about discipline-wise. They cut the fast break points, they execute better half-court offense, and they protected the ball. Now, I had set as a target, if you could take that 128 and get it down to 112, 110, the Celtics are going to win that game. And so that's where they were. This is the type of margin stuff that Joe Mazzulla is talking about. The Celtics did better in all of those margins. The Celtics did better discipline-wise. This is why they were able to win pretty comfortably by the end. They had a lead of up to 20. They ended up winning by 16. So those margins, that discipline, that did the job. Keep doing that. The Celtics are good enough to keep doing that and to come away with a sweep is not out of the question. I don't expect it. Maybe Celtics in 6. We'll see what happens in game 3. Maybe it's Celtics in 5. But the Celtics have to come out, very important in game 3, that they come out with that same level of focus. They talked after this game that, hey, we are aware that the Knicks were up 2-0 as well, and they just lost that series. And I think that's a very smart message to be sending in that locker room after the fact, to say, hey, that's great. You did what you're supposed to do. You came in here and you held home court. The Pacers are perfect at home. And again, I will repeat, if they don't have Tyrese Haliburton, that is not a death sentence for the Pacers. It hurts them for sure because he's been playing well. But TJ McConnell has stepped in when Haliburton has been out, and he has done well. So he can be very annoying. He plays with great speed and great pace. Their offense doesn't suffer. Their defense suffers some, but hey, that's not much worse than when Haliburton is out there. So it hurts their bench depth a little bit, but they have guys that can step up. So it is imperative. If Haliburton is out, do not sit there and buy into the, series is over. They're going to try. McConnell's going to try to play very hard. Siakam's going to be out there trying to play hard. Like, they're not going to roll over and die. So the message sent to the Celtics afterwards in the locker room is very clear. Don't think you got this wrapped up, because the Knicks looked really good after 2 games. The Pacers did not look good on the road. The Pacers are perfect at home. They will go home. They will win one of these 2 games. And if they win game 3, that makes it feel a whole lot different than if Boston wins game 3 and the Pacers win game 4. And now Boston just gets to come over here and finish it off. So go into game 3 as if you had just lost the game 2. Hey, the Celtics won a game 2. This is amazing, right? It's great. They have struggled with game 2s. They won this one. They won it easily. There's not much to be upset about. Luke Cornett did get hurt. I don't like that. Jaylen Brown, his left wrist does not seem to be doing great, but he played through it, and it's his non-shooting hand, so he got through it and obviously was fine. So aside from those things, not much to be upset about from the Celtics side. Tatum had that rough first half, but finished strong. Look, 6 points at halftime, finished with 23. So that's good. I'm not going to sit there and say he had a great game, but he was part of the closing kick in that fourth quarter. So give him a little bit of credit, and let's hope he can get that shooting down. But the good thing about Tatum, that mid-range shot is looking a lot better, and that's a playoff shot. That's a shot that he's going to need, and if he can continue to hit that, now get the rest of his game together, and he'll be okay. I don't know what was wrong with him in the first half. He was not good in the first half at all. So, but the Celtics were able to pull away regardless. But he was pretty good defensively, and I thought he did great as the 5. Horford, didn't do much. So, but he rebounded well and he defended well. So I'm not going to say like he was a plus 13, but didn't do much statistically. Derek White and Drew Holiday. Before I go, got to mention White and Holiday together were great. Combined for 38 points, 23 for White, 15 for Holiday. They combined for 16 assists, 10 for Holiday, 6 for White. White with a steal and a block. Holiday just 1 turnover. They both played really, really well. They were combined 7 of 12 from 3. It's exactly what they needed on a night where Tatum didn't have it, to get both of those guys stepping up. That's great. And then you get 12 points from Peyton Pritchard off the bench. That right there, the power of the Celtics. When Tatum doesn't have his best game, the Celtics are able to pick him up. And you also have, by the way, Jaylen Brown, who should have been an all-NBA player, playing his absolute best. So that's the recipe for a win. So great win, great team win. Celtics heading to Indiana on Saturday, 8:30 game on ABC. I will be there. I will be podcasting after that game. Bonus podcast for you there. So, and hopefully the Celtics can go up 3-0 and let the Timberwolves and Mavericks just beat the snot out of each other. And the Celtics can take a few days off, because the sooner you wrap up this series, the sooner Jaylen Brown can rest that wrist, and whatever nicks and bumps and bruises need to be rested can be rested. So very important. Game 3, super, super important. Go win game 3. Go win game 3. Do not give Indiana life. Do not make this like the Raptors in the bubble. You got them where you want them. Get this win. Go up 3-0. Wrap this up in 4 or 5 and be done with it. That's the message. That's the mission. Your mission is to subscribe to the Locked On Celtics podcast if you haven't already. If you have, I'd love it if you share the podcast. Tell everybody, call it up on YouTube. Get into that comment section. You should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.